I remember staring at the waves playfully caressing the shore as the wind quietly whistled in the distance. "I'll be here" gently appears on the screen, followed by a melodic chorus as Nobuo Uematsu's Liberi Fatalis starts its monumental build-up while being treated to some amazing CGI. This is just a taste of what's to come, as I'm about to embark on an epic tale of political turmoil, internal conflict, and bonds that can't be broken. This is Final Fantasy VIII, a game that celebrates its 25th anniversary this year. It's a game that's often overshadowed by Final Fantasy VII, the title that came before it, but heralded as one of the greats by those who played it 25 years ago. Let's take a look back at this phenomenal title that captivated the hearts of many a gamer, myself included. Final Fantasy VIII follows an endearing cast of characters, memorable antagonists, and an intriguing support cast throughout its reality and time-bending story. Not a lot of it will actually make sense at first, but eventually all the threads will weave into an epic tale. Squall, the main character, who is an edgy protagonist with a chip on his shoulder, isn't actually very likable at first. But that changes as the journey ventures forth, allowing the character to develop as a leader amongst his seed peers. It was my first introduction to the Final Fantasy series, and I hadn't previously been engaged by a story quite on this scale before. There were some confusing moments in the story, which was initially spread over 4 discs, such as switching to another party along with another group of support characters when Disc 1 ended on a cliffhanger. But as the story neared its conclusion, the pieces all started falling into place. So it's safe to say that for me, I never really wanted it to end, but when it did, it ended beautifully. The game was ahead of its time by seamlessly blending FMV with in-game graphics in some amazing transitions that purposely and expertly kept players engaged in the story. While we may look back and laugh at things like the handsome squall meme, Final Fantasy VIII manages to cleverly blend 2D, 3D, and FMV backgrounds and settings, along with higher detailed character models, superb spell effects, that just made every battle exciting. Whilst the junction system was, and still remains, clunky, the unique draw system negated the use of gathering potions to recharge mana, making spells more like a consumable item that you could obtain off certain enemies. The GF summons were also something to behold, with series favourites like Ifrit and Shiva making an appearance, also managing to integrate some of these GFs into an integral part of the story. Players that managed to summon these GFs were treated to an almost cinematic symphony of spell effects and attacks that made you just feel amazing every time you cast them. They never seemed to get old. There was also a great diversion in side missions incorporating minigames, like decoupling the train carts to assassinate an evil political leader, as well as the collectathon of Triple Triad, a card game that you could challenge a lot of NPCs to, which also managed to make a glorious resurgence in Final Fantasy XIV Online. Players could collect and lose valuable cards based on the enemies encountered in the game, as well as train a certain GF to be able to randomly turn enemies into cards. Triple Triad was also a fairly balanced game, meaning that even the best of cards have their weaknesses, and a player caught unawares could lose their coveted Ifrit card, like I did many times. Another standout feature of Final Fantasy VIII was its amazing score by the legendary Nobuo Uematsu, who treated us to an amazing tracks like Balam Garden, which is still going strong, amassing over 3 million plays on Spotify alone, not to mention the countless YouTube uploads and views. The soundtrack was a perfect mix of fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping battle music, complemented by dulcet piano tones, strings, and woodwinds to make an engrossing score to complement the world that you were just being absorbed into. To me, Final Fantasy VIII will always be one of my all-time treasured games. It had some big boots to fill after the runaway success of Final Fantasy VII, and while it didn't manage to quite beat the sales of the previous title, it did manage to create a legacy of gamers who will swear that 8 is the best PS1 Final Fantasy title. Whether it is or not, that comes down to your personal opinion. But for this lucky writer who gets to play games day in and day out, I will always find pleasure in revisiting Squall, Renoa, Selphie, Zell, Irvine, and Quistis. Going back to Final Fantasy VIII doesn't feel like I'm playing a retro game. It feels more like a reunion with old friends. Now, if you liked this video, let me know, and I would love to hear how Final Fantasy VIII impacted you. And if you have another game that you hold dear, why don't you let me know so I can check it out? Also, if you haven't played Final Fantasy VIII but you want to give it a go, the remake is on the Switch eShop and it's a great way to play this incredible RPG. Thank you for watching my thoughts on a game that I certainly hold dear. For all things Nintendo, I'll be here. So if you come here, you'll find me. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Because of amazing people like you, What's It Like is now my full-time job. I also do want to do a special shout out to my Patreons, S Hill, K Skip, and D Kite. I couldn't have done it without your support. Thank you.